When I see the title of a movie is Come Play, it makes me wonder, do I actually want to come play with this film? And should I make the joke that you should come play with this film, or should you not? That's what I think about when I'm going into a film like this. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new movie review. Today I'm going to be discussing Come Play, which stars the likes of John Gallagher Jr., Robertson, and Gillian Jacobs. It's directed and written by Jacob Chase, who actually wrote and directed the original 2017 short film called Larry, which this film is about a monster named Larry that manifests itself through smartphones and mobile devices. When the trailer dropped for this, I thought this is a cool concept. I really like this. I looked into the short film and found it to be, again, pretty cool. I like this. And the reason I put the Babadook behind me is because that's actually my favorite horror film of all time. I love the Babadook. I actually have the actual book from the Babadook, and it's one of my most prized possessions. But besides that, this reminded me of the Babadook in some senses, because what that film had was, it was a book that had a demon manifesting from it, if that's what you truly want to believe. And we could get into a whole different study about that movie, and really, again, we could really dive into that film even more if we wanted to, but we're doing a review for Come Play. And I was looking into Come Play, I'm like, this could be the exact same thing, just as a more modern day technology type way of it. And I'm wondering if Jacob Chase took any inspiration from the Babadook, because the Babadook, again, is one of my favorite horror films of all time. And going into Come Play, I was looking forward to it because of that. I think the concept's really well done, and I was like, this is a great one. Let's jump in. I love the cast, and it's just a fine movie. It's just a fine movie, sadly. But of course, if you guys are new here though, and you guys love talking movies, let's keep talking movies down below in the comment section, guys. I love it. And if you guys have seen this film, let me know down below what your guys' thoughts are. Are you guys looking forward to it? Are you gonna watch it this Halloween? Let's talk about it down there as well, guys. Hit that like and subscribe. And if you guys just love movies, I love talking movies again, and I want to keep talking them with you guys down there. So hit that like and subscribe button before you guys head on out. Starting with my pros, Come Play actually starts off pretty strong, and the opening scene is pretty intense. There are actually tense moments to this film, especially fairly early on, to where I was sitting there and going, this is gonna scare the bejeebas out of me. Maybe it will get me there. Maybe it will continue that push. And overall, the film still has some pretty tense moments that you're sitting there going, all right, I don't know what's going on, but this is pretty creepy. And Larry the Demon has a cool design to it as well, and especially the way that it manifests itself through the mobile devices, again, I think is a really cool concept that maybe isn't fully realized to the potential that I think it could have been, but again, I liked what it went with there. Plus, the performances, they're serviceable. I think Gillian Jacobs, great. I love her in Community. Robertson, also great. Kid performer, I liked him in Marriage Story. He's good in here as well. And John Gallagher Jr., I mean, again, great actor. Everyone in here is good. They're serviceable for the story. They don't elevate the material. They don't de-elevate it at all. They're good. What Come Play comes down to, though, is, again, it doesn't make me want to come play with this film ever again. And I hate to make that pun, but I love puns, and I gotta talk about it. I wanted a lot more from this film, and I think this film just goes for a straight-up basic horror movie that you've seen before. A demon wants to take over a kid and become his best friend, or sort of way possess him, whatever you want to say into that nature. That's what this film is about. And for me, I found this film to be lacking in a lot more of a depth that it could have gone, especially even checking out the short film before this and looking into the potential of what I feel like this has. Because even though I was, it was tense in the beginning, and there are definitely tense moments throughout the film, I found it to be bland. After those tense moments, I just sit there and be like, okay, there's a cool message here and there for the story overall, and I found some elements of it to be, okay, this is cool, but that's not really. And there's one major issue I have with the film, and I don't know even why it's in there, to be honest with you, and it's a giant product placement thing, in my opinion. That's the way I viewed it, is that it's product placement. And I'm not going to get into spoilers about it. I'm not going to get into spoilers about it because I don't want to spoil it for people who might want to be invested into this film. But there's one giant thing in here that definitely felt like product placement, and it took me out of the experience every single time. And there's multiple moments that this one element happens. And a couple times, in fact, it actually is tied into the story very well, which again, if you're looking at a modern day technology and you're looking at how kids are today, which again, this film will make you, if you have kids of your own, you will never let them touch a phone again. You will never let them touch a phone again, especially after this, at such a young age, which kids should not have a phone this young. But still, then I understand why this was such a big part of it. But again, it just kept bonking you over the head and reminding you, hey, we are PG-13 rating here, and I'm gonna shove this product placement right in your face. And it just took me out of the experience every single time. And taking that even aside, again, I still feel like the film is bland. it's kind of boring at times, especially when it's not intense. And you know, the message part of it, some of the bullying that happens as a young kid in here because of some of the elements that he must go through, and I understand why he has a phone in here because that's the way he communicates. But even with that said, I liked some of that, but I just kept getting taken out of the experience. I'd sit there and I'd be tense for a little bit, but then I wouldn't be. The jump scares are here and there, and the monster Larry, I mean, I don't even want to know if I want to get into the CGI of it, because that was also another element that took me out of it. Now, there can be an argument made for why he looks the way he does. Maybe it's because you're using an AR type thing to see him through the phone. But then there's some things that happen towards the end that still kind of looked a little bit unreasonable for me. Come Play is a movie that definitely made me not want to come play with it, but it's not one that I walked out going, this was god awful, this was terrible, this was literally one of the worst things I've seen all year, because I've seen worse. There's still worse films I've seen this year. It's just a fine movie. It's one that I won't remember in a couple days. Probably not even by the end of the year. I'll probably forget that I totally watched this. I think Jacob Chase has a cool idea here that I wish he would have dove more into. And not necessarily saying that he has to make the next Babadook, but I think there's a dramatic level that could have came into play in here. And I wish he would have more focused on that than just going more for the straight up horror route that he did go for. Because that straight up horror route I've seen before. And while some of the scenes are really filmed in a very intense way and the performances are serviceable and I liked some elements of it, the product placement took me out. It kind of felt a little bit bland to me at times, and it just felt like something I'd seen so many times before and just was never blown away by it. So with all that said, I'm going to give Come Play a C-. Let me know down below, guys, what your guys' thoughts are. Do you guys feel a different way from me? I know no one else in the world, at the time of talking about this, I know no one else in the world that have seen this film, but I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts down below in the comment section. So thank you guys so much for clicking on this. You guys are seriously all the best. Hit that like and subscribe button. Head on over to Sam Sean Films on how to see films early. And of course, it's a big thing to you and a big thing to my Patreon supporters, because without you, I wouldn't be able to do this. Have a great rest of your guys' day. Have a happy Halloween, and look forward to many reviews coming soon.